talk about this now. Joining me now to discuss is our young political panel. Rachel Janfaza. I want to make sure I have that right. How do you say your last name?
Janfaza.
Thank you, Janfaza. Rachel Janfaza, the founder of the Up and Up newsletter and reporter on Gen Z, and Stefano Forte is the president of the New York Young Republicans. All right, guys, thank you very much for being here in studio. We always appreciate it. You know, listen, young voters are really turning out this week, right? We saw such a huge surge, and I witnessed it here on the streets of New York and at Zoran's headquarters in Brooklyn. So as we take a look at what propelled Democratic candidates to victory in Virginia, the youth turnout rising by 7% from the previous election, and in New Jersey, a 9% increase for voters ages 18 to 29 years old. Rachel, I'll start with you, with how significant you think this is, and what do you think needs to happen for that rise to continue?
It's very significant. We typically don't see high youth voter turnout in what is considered an off-year election cycle like this year. And I think it just shows how frustrated young people are and how eager they are to make their voice heard. When I look at these numbers, I see that there is concern from young people about the cost of living, about life affordability, about rent, about the cost of higher education. And the candidates who did well this week campaigned on a message of making life better, more affordable. And I suspect to see that continuing. And for any candidate who's trying to resonate with young people, that's what I believe they need to focus in on in 2026 and 2028.
Listen, it all sounds good, but now we have to watch it be put into play and who's going to pay for it. That's been one of the main concerns, right?
Absolutely. That's one of the main concerns. And I will say that Zoran Mamdani ran a near-perfect campaign. He put out a beautiful policy proposal. He's going to freeze the rent. Everyone's going to get a free puppy, you know. And young voters see this and they say, wow, somebody who's speaking for me. This is something that they really want to see. But is he going to be able to govern this way? This is not sustainable. Socialism has never worked in any country in history. So now he's going to have to govern. And is he going to be able to get things done? I don't believe he's going to be able to.
And I want to stay with you for a second, because Turning Point USA was seeing a surge in signups following the death of Charlie Kirk, right? So we've been watching that with young people looking to be more politically active. So, you know, why do you think that we didn't see young conservatives as excited in New Jersey and Virginia?
What was the message from Republican campaigns about affordability? What was the message about a future? TPUSA and Charlie Kirk were speaking directly to the issues that young voters want to hear about. Charlie Kirk was talking about being able to buy a house, being able to start a family, being able to start off your life. None of these conservative candidates were really speaking to the heart of that issue, right? Also, it goes without saying that Republicans have been struggling to get elected without Donald Trump at the top of the ticket. Without one big draw, they've really struggled. So these young voters are looking for somebody to speak for them, and TPUSA, the New York Young Republican Club, we've released robust policy proposals saying this is how we kickstart your future. We will speak for you. But young voters did not see that at the top of the tickets in their respective states.
Yeah, Rachel, we've been talking about, you know, a lot of talk about the Mamdani viral moments, right? Going into this, so many people were excited, they were energized, and again, we've got to see this put into action. And I want to show you something that the New York Times wrote this week, saying that Gen Z loneliness helped propel Mamdani's rise, giving young people a community experience. Turning Point USA has been a community builder for young activists, back on tour at a lot of campuses across the South. Let's take a listen to its CEO, Erica Kirk, now, and the vice president speaking to a crowd at the University of Mississippi, and we'll talk on the other side.
You are the courageous generation. Hear me when I say that. My husband believed that to his core.
We know that you are the future of Charlie Kirk's legacy.
I want to get both of your perspectives on that. Rachel, what do you hear when you hear those words?
I think the way that they're speaking to young people and showing up on these campuses, just as Charlie Kirk did, is exactly what needs to happen. Anyone who is trying to reach out to and bring young people into their movement, which is exactly what this is, and it's also what Zoran Mamdani did in New York City, it's a movement. It's about bringing people together. This is a generation that grew up during COVID, that spent so much of their adolescent lives at home, not with friends, not with others, and they're looking for spaces to come together outside of the classroom, outside of school, and forge bonds and fight for things that they believe in together. And so I think anyone who is trying to reach young people needs to keep that in mind and really create those in-person opportunities, not just online. The online conversation is certainly important, but you have to pair the online with in-person tactics.
Right.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.